I'm gonna push the RAM project over for just a second because I just got something in the mail that I am super excited for. The second this was dropped off onto my front porch, I went through it, I inspected everything for shipping damage, and I forgot just how much was actually in this box. So let's dump this out and we're gonna go through it all just a little bit closer. Everything arrived just fine though. He packages his projects very well, maybe too well. I got a little annoyed cutting away all the bubble wrap. That's okay though. First thing we got here is the chassis. And as you can tell, it is not a regular car. I'm not going to give it away just yet. Instead, I'm going to unbox just a few more parts here, slowly piece it together, and let me know if you can guess what it is before I got it all together. These tires are heavy. This is a solid chunk of resin. And I'm sure he could have printed these hollow just to save some product, but he went the extra mile and done things very solid. If you guys haven't figured it out yet, this is a modified pulling tractor. And here we have a total of 4 blown Hemi engines for that tractor. Now do not worry, those engines actually sit down in those cradles perfectly once we get this crossbox mated up to them. Let's have a closer look at this engine here real quick. At first glance, it is clean and super smooth. I kind of had my doubts that these were actually 3D printed at first. My only complaint is that everything is just in one piece, which makes painting a little bit more difficult, but hey, masking is easy. Everything is there though. There's the blower hat and the headers. The only thing that we need to make this more complete is just aftermarket stuff. Plumbing, wiring, all that stuff that I always have on hand. We're going to make these engines look good. And we're going to do it 4 times. The level of accuracy and detail in the chassis alone is something unreal. The way these things are steered, it's with the pedals. Half this thing's life is spent with the front tires in the air when they're pulling. It's actually steered with those brake pedals. Let's say you're turning to the left here, you apply that right pedal, it slows down the right side of the car and straightens you back out. Now this thing does have traditional steering in a sense. It's really only just there just to help you back up in the staging lane to hook up to the trailer. And the steering wheel, that's where the throttle actually is. And we got just one last bag here to go through. And this is mostly just little greebles. We got a seat, which I am assuming is super comfortable. Now we get the fuel tank, which also mounts to the front because we want as much weight over the front wheels as we can. And here is that steering wheel I had mentioned earlier. And then finally, we get these little bitty baby tires. Now those of course mount to the steel inserts. Those were pre-installed by the dude who printed this, which is a good thing because I have astigmatism and I cannot drill holes straight. So the wheels would have sat crooked if I had drilled them. And this huge rear fender is where we start to see that this was indeed 3D printed. Something this big is going to have some layer lines. We also get just a little bit of uncured resin. That's not a problem. I could wash that off or hit it with my UV pen. Every 3D print I've ever got has had that, it's not a big deal. Now, this next part, I'm just a little bit hesitant to talk about. When I placed my order, I asked the dude if he could throw in a sticker, a business card, something, just so I could plug him on my YouTube here. He said he would do me one better and sent me this, a second complete model kit. Now, I am always hesitant to say things like this because I don't want people to start bugging him for free stuff. It is a deal that he had offered me, and I graciously accepted. I'm going to do some advertising for him, and I'm going to put 200% effort into building these two kits. For those of you unfamiliar, this is the flip car from Fast and the Furious. Now, I will admit that I am not that big of a fan of Fast and the Furious, so exactly which one of the 300 Fast and the Furious movies this is from, I don't really know. That franchise got a little off track towards the end, and I lost interest in it. Now, the quality of these parts, and the prints, the accuracy, they're just as good as that tractor. Let's look at this LS engine here a little bit closer. Now, what I'm doing is I'm spinning it around kind of quick. What I'm doing is looking for imperfections, and I cannot find any. Now I'm gonna just let this video play in the background and talk more about his tractors. He has a lot of them. Just about any variant of modified tractor he has. Of course, I got the quad V8 variant. He also has that exact same model, but with 3 engines. Now, on this same chassis, which I'm calling the long frame, he's also got a variant that's got 2 V12s on it and a crazy one that's got 4 jet turbine engines on it. Doesn't stop there though. He's also got a small frame single engine variant, along with all kinds of sandrails, dune buggies, just about anything you guys want that is quote unquote off-road. This guy has it. As you can see, I don't really know how this thing goes together. As I mentioned, I'm not that familiar with it. I have since done a little bit of research and got some reference photos. I know how it goes together now. So at this point, I assume you guys are probably tired of listening to me talk and want to know who this is. Right here, Outlaw Trophy Resins. I have a link in the video description below. Go check him out. This tractor will be built right after the Ram, so stay tuned.